Hey guys, how's it going? Let's talk about money. Today's topic I got for you, it's cold storage wallets for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. There are multiple brands on the market. I've tested two of them in my life, and I got a bonus wallet for you that costs absolutely zero. Which one should you choose? And what you should look for to not make the same mistakes I did while picking the right wallet for my needs. So the features I prioritize for myself is the safety. I'm not a trader. I barely use my wallets, like maybe once in a month, so I don't use them daily. It's basically buy a Bitcoin, forget about it for a decade, and maybe in the next decade or two I will consume some of them. Maybe I will sell them, or maybe not when I'm ready. First one is a Ledger Nano S. I strongly do not recommend it for you. Why? So if you prioritize safety just as I do, and you want to hold your Bitcoin or whatever crypto for a long term, and I mean for years, this is not a choice. This is not a right pick. So why is that? So primarily, when we talk about security, safety, when we talk about this wallet, you have to know that software of this wallet is absolutely closed source. What it means in reality is that you don't know what's going on under the hood of this wallet. So just as a side note, when you pick a wallet, the wallet only holds your signatures. It doesn't really hold your cryptocurrencies, your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin is on a blockchain, not here. Here are only your signatures. Very important thing. And when you get a closed source software, you don't know what is going on with these signatures. Maybe in this software there is a backdoor that the developers of a ledger have an access to, and one day they can sign some transactions without your knowledge about it and get your Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency from the blockchain from you and get them to their own wallet, right? So do you really own your cryptocurrencies in here? Probably, I don't know, like all relies here in a ledger. Everything relies here on just trust me, bro, right? Like across the years, the ledger developers were undermining the trust to this wallet multiple times, and you can see them on these tweets. So first they said, no, we cannot get your signatures out of the wallet, and on the other hand, after reconsideration, I suppose they say like, yeah, it was always an option. You were always just trusting us that we won't do it. So I don't want to trust, like when I hold a significant amount of my savings in a Bitcoin on such a wallet, I don't want to just base it on a just trust me, bro kind of a thing, right? This is what Bitcoin is also all about, right? Like you hold your keys, right? That's why you do not keep your Bitcoin on Coinbase, on Binance. You don't keep them on these exchanges because these Bitcoins or this crypto you've got there, they are not really your cryptos. They are property of Binance, property of Kraken, property of FTX, right? And what can happen to them is they can be confiscated, then can be hacked, they can be freezed or whatever thing, right? So not your keys, not your crypto. Keep it in mind when you consider Ledger Nano S. Nobody seems to be talking about it too loudly. I don't know why. I think I know why. So, well, why Ledger is so popular, at least among the Polish influencers. I'm from Poland. So I feel because they make the best marketing, right? Probably they give the best benefits to the influencers for these affiliate links. So they can get the biggest cut when they sell you a Ledger Nano as or any Ledger. Uh, so that's why I think they are most popular. Uh, don't go with a Ledger. don't go with closed source software when it comes to safety, right? Whenever you prioritize safety, right? Whenever it's about money, you really, and when you really want to prioritize safety, you don't want to have a closed source software because you never know what's going on there. You never know if there's any backdoor that can steal effectively your Bitcoin out from you, right? So, if not Ledger, then what I recommend? So, I recommend any Trezor wallet. Why? Because Trezor wallet is fully open source software, right? By any means, I'm not a developer, right? I cannot actually check the code myself. I cannot read the code. I mean, I work for IT, so probably if I would spend a lot of time, I would probably get through it, but I'm not a software engineer. So I don't know what is, even though it is open software, you can say like, oh yeah, but you cannot read the code, right? The same applies to Bitcoin actually, right? It's also open software, but if you can't read the code, then it doesn't really matter if this open software or closed software, right? Well, wrong, because when you got an open software, you have to know that there is way more many eyes looking on the code and the developers and the engineers that can look into the GitLab, GitHub, or wherever the software is, and they can pinpoint some possible breaches, some possible bugs, some possible unsafe line of code, so to say, right? So the science and the cybersecurity researches show on and on and on again that it is way more safe to have open source software if it comes to when it comes to security, when it comes to safety. It's just way better to have open source software that can be verified by millions of eyes and not a closed source software. Closed source software is basically security by obscurity, and it doesn't work in a long run, and it has a lot of liabilities attached to it. So Trezor is fully open source software, and on top of that, they have even not fully but open sourced hardware. So that's even more amazing. So basically, you could, if you are stubborn donkey, you could possibly just copy paste the whole thing and build it yourself in your basement, right? Not that you live in a basement, right? But you get the point. So this is why I use Trezor. This is why I recommend it when it comes to safety, the Trezor in general. You should in your life, like, of course, do whatever you want, but in my life, when it comes to safety, I see open source, I say okay. When I see closed source, I see I'm gonna pass, right? Especially when it comes to money and especially when it comes to your savings, right? You really want to keep them secured. So, you know, so even I don't know the code that is running on a Trezor, at least if I'm curious, right? You can imagine it like I can go to the bank and ask the banker inside the bank, like, okay, I know you keep my money safe in your vault, but can you tell me more about this lock, right? Or this other thing that keeps it safe? Like, could you describe it to me? And he's transparent, right? He's just saying like, oh yeah, here you go. This is how we keep your money safe, right? Rather than, oh, I'm not gonna tell you how we keep your money safe. You just have to trust that it's gonna be all good, right? Well, don't buy Ledger, buy Trezor. Any Trezor. I would say that even the cheapest one, probably the cheapest one is the best one, especially if you only gonna hold Bitcoin for a long term. Maybe if you're like a day trader or you trade more often, maybe I would go for the more expensive option with like touch display, but to me it's like an overkill. It's really good. And I would start, if I could rewind my life to the point where I was figuring out which wallet to buy, I would really start my journey with Trezor. So this is it about the cold wallet. So now let's go to the third one. So I think the third wallet, the third proposal I got for you today is actually the safest one. I don't hear a lot. I haven't heard a lot about this one, and I couldn't really find a lot of useful information about this wallet. And I think I know why. Um, there is this famous quote is saying that if you don't know what it's all about, it's always about the money. So, when I want to sell you this ledger, right, I can make some buck out of the affiliate link, right? For a ledger, probably a little bit more than from Trezor. I don't know because they rejected the Trezor rejected actually my affiliate link. They don't want to have me as a partner yet. So if you like this video, you can drop me a couple of sats through the Lightning Network. Here is my Strike account to tip. Thank you so much, sir. So what's the third proposal? It is the OG, I would say, paper Bitcoin wallet. It's purely for Bitcoin, and it is for $0, zloty, euros. You can actually create this wallet right now, and you can create it offline. So your computer might be totally off the internet. Just go to the bitaddress.org, take a look at what I'm doing. So right now I'm generating my public and my private key. And after I'm done, I can just transfer my Bitcoin to the wallet, right? So how to do it safe? If you're very paranoid, what I would do is I would get this software that is running on the bitaddress.org. You can actually get it from GitHub, I believe. It's open source software, right? So you can verify. This is a good sign. This is open source software, so you can verify yourself. And it is using some common libraries like SHA-256. By the way, the same one that Bitcoin is using for hashing. So you just take this piece of code, you can fire it up on newly installed Linux, like TailOS, in example. You can disconnect the laptop from the internet and you can generate your public and private key. And then you can transfer all your Bitcoin or whatever amount of Bitcoin you want to your public key. I've tested it. It works. I gave it to my nephew like 2 years ago. And I basically wrote the public and a private key on a piece of paper and I've mailed it to him. It was like $50 2 years ago, right? Because it was like right after the FTX fall, and now it's worth like $200, the same amount of Bitcoin. He was super happy about it. So, paper Bitcoin wallet, very interesting thing. It is, in my opinion, the most safe wallet on the market there. If you do it properly, just as I described, it can be the safest wallet for you, for your Bitcoin holdings in long terms. Of course, it comes with some trade-offs. So when I want to send some Bitcoin from my wallet, from like, let's say with using of a Trezor Suite app, it's very simple, right? And if you want to send, because there is like application, right? And there is some interface, right? And when it comes to the paper Bitcoin wallet, it's way harder. Then you have to create like a hot wallet or something. Like it's way it's it's way more effort to send the Bitcoin from this wallet, in my opinion. So this is the trade-off. It's not very elastic solution. It's like the classic trilemma, right? Where if you prioritize the safety, then of course like there is something that you have to take away, and this is the takeaway from it. This is the trade-off where you have to like sacrifice some of this elastic fast approach where you cannot just easily, when you get the piece of paper with a public and private key code, you cannot just easily send your Bitcoin to some other wallet. But maybe I'm wrong. And by the way, since I haven't found a lot of information about paper wallet, and if you know more, because I'm by any means, I'm not a cybersecurity expert, and you should do your own research anytime. Just verify whatever I said. Don't just trust me, bro. Especially when it comes to money, especially when it comes to your like savings, like be very careful. And I'm not a cybersecurity expert, just as I said, so verify this information. And if you know more, please share in your comments, like, what do you think about the paper wallet? Is it actually safe? Because I haven't had a lot of, like, I tried to scan the internet for information about it, but haven't found a lot of them. So I'm not entirely sure. It seems to me that this is the most safe wallet, and there's not a lot of information about it because, as I said, it's, like it's heavy. It's like you cannot make any buck, out of it, right? It costs zero. Basically, it costs zero. So whatever in your life, this is this common pattern, right? I would say, like, whenever there's something that is hard to monetize, it's usually not very often advertised, and because you just cannot, it's hard to squeeze the money from the rock, as they say in poker. So when you're an influencer, you make money out of this, right? Like, if I would sell to you something, right? If I want to make some buck, if I advertise to you, like, hey, if you like safety, just go buy Trezor. And on the other hand, I say, but for $0, you can get yourself a paper wallet. Like, I'm undermining myself financially, sort of, but I don't give a damn. Just go check it yourself. And if you don't like it, if you want to start more easily, more user-friendly, if you're new to Bitcoin and crypto, just go with a Trezor. You cannot be wrong with that. It costs like 60 euros. So it's not that big of a deal, I would say. And that's it for today. So don't buy Ledger. If you're just starting out, I would go for Trezor. If you want to go for hardcore security and safety, consider PayPal wallet. It costs zero. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any comments, go ahead. If you like this, like the video, and if you really, really, really like what I just said, just you can tip me on a strike. Thanks so much.